Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? It's your boy Rick Matsoko here, coming at you with a video of a journey to £1,000,000 today, which is about the trap of bills and direct debits. Thank you so much for keeping on watching this series. I'm really enjoying making it as I'm going through the journey, documenting my journey to £1,000,000, and continue to like the page, like my page, comment, tell me what you're thinking, because your feedback gets me. And also, when you like it, when you register for notifications, you will get told the next time that I receive videos. I'm always doing videos, articles that will help in many ways, but finance and personal finance is one big one. And half the journey to a million, which no one ever thinks about. Everyone ever only thinks about the making of money, but no one ever thinks about retaining that money and keeping the money, so that you're not spending as much as you're making. Is a major thing why let's say footballers who are earning 50 grand a week for their whole career end up with nothing. And you're going, surely but they spent as much as they were getting. And so one of the major ways that the world system gets your money is through direct debits and bills. This is a big reason why a lot of people are middle class, and they should be rich, but they're actually still middle class, because these things have really trapped them. Direct debits and bills are the way people are entrapped and enslaved to a salary and a job in the Western world. Now, you may have it in your own country. Maybe it's called something different. Maybe not a direct debit. Maybe it's a monthly payment plan, a weekly payment plan, whatever. Different countries have different ways to do it. But most countries will make you pay bills. You pay bills for utilities and everything. So we all have it in some way or the other in a country. And here's a question: if you want a litmus test, a question that will kind of like you may think, oh, I'm not trapped. I'm not trapped by this. But think about this: if you didn't get your salary this month, how many months would you last before you were homeless, before you lost your car, before you lost that standard of life that you really think is so awesome? Think about that. That is the real measure of how rich you are. Maybe you live in a nice neighborhood. Maybe you live in one of these mansions and everything. But if you lost your job right now, if you lost your job, how long would you last? Because only if you could last and do things in your own kind of, at your own pace, in your own way, that's when you're truly out of the rat race. Otherwise, you are just in a rat race with the rest of us. So let's get deeper into this. Bills. What are bills really? Bills are the price you pay to live a convenient life. I look at it in the Western world, and I realize that in order for us to have amazing roads where they are repaired and maintained, we pay road tax. If someone ever came from a country, some of the countries in Africa or something, they go, oh, there's no road tax over there. Yeah, that's why there are bad roads over there, and people keep dying in accidents. But in a modern country like the United Kingdom, road tax is what costs us. Road tax is the price you pay to do those amazing roads. In order to have this data that I'm like sending you stuff on an iPhone 6 with data. I don't even have to worry about data. It's a bill. It's a bill that I'm paying to my mobile provider, to live that convenient life, to be able to be on Facebook every day, kind of like just like interacting with you guys. This is a bill. Bills are the price you pay so that you don't have power cuts every single day like they have in some developing countries. So, with bills, the question I would ask is, it's always wondered me, why is it that we almost have as much bills as we have salary? I've noticed this with my bills, that when I had a very low job, let's say my first job, when I had my first job at McDonald's, I literally had a phone bill and I paid some rent and I bought some food. That was as much, all right, at the time I was a bit immature, so all my money went to the club, but my bills were like that because I had a small salary, so I didn't have fancy stuff. But the more I got, other jobs, when I got promoted and everything, for some reason, I would get a pay rise and a bump up in my my income. 2-3 months down the line, I've raised my standards and started buying some other luxuries that I need, that I don't need really, and started and I started approaching the money I was getting in salary was I could never let it be too much more than my bills. I was always, whenever my salary went up, I'd have to get my bills to get up. It was just a subconscious thing, and it was only when I started learning it that I went, there's a pattern here. Why is that? Why is that? I really want to ask, and I really have this thing with middle class, because there's this like illusion of the middle class, that we think we're so much better than everyone else, than the working class, than everybody else. But when you think of your life, what are those bills? What are they for, that you just keep raising your standard of living to impress people that don't even really care about you? I was just thinking about this as a big one. There was a time, back in the day when there was still Love Film. I think just that was the one which has now become Amazon, but lovefilm.co.uk. I used to hire videos through them. And I remember going through a period where I paid them £12 a month for about 2 years, and I literally got maybe hired 6 videos from them. That's £12 a month. What's that? 12 times 12, that's £144 in a year. So for those 2 years, that was almost £280 that I just paid them, and I literally hired 6 videos, just paying bills. It was all on direct debit. I never even saw it, so it just went out. And some of the things, when we don't think deeply about where our money is going, you can really get in a hole. That is what I'm saying with bills. Be careful with them. Be careful with them. I know, yes, they are necessary for certain things, but you should watch it, because they can just ratchet up. They can ratchet up and ratchet up. And direct debits will be even more. Let me tell you about them. Because direct debits, they seem convenient, because a direct debit or a direct monthly payment is something maybe you pay monthly, weekly, quarterly, whatever, to a creditor, and they literally take that money from your bank. You don't have to see it, and they just get their money. That's very convenient. But when you look at it, is it not simply you paying in installments for something that you couldn't afford in the first place? Think about that. Car finance. Let's say car finance. Maybe, you saw a very nice car. You saw a nice car, a Range Rover going up a hill on an advert, and you went, oh, I want that. But I can't afford 36 grand. I can't afford to pay that straight away. And they go, oh no, you don't have to worry about that. Come into this deal with us where you can pay it over 6 years at this amount every month. So basically, you've bought a car that you couldn't afford, but you've now got it. You've satiated that need to have that car, and now you've basically sold the next 6 years of your life. You cannot quit your job for those 6 years. Not just willy-nilly, no, because you need to be paying, Nissan or Range Rover for that car that you got. Direct debits, they are very insidious, because you don't even see them. At least bills, you see them. Direct debits, you don't even see them. The principle that's at play here that I have had to learn, and I've been putting into, is the principle that you shouldn't eat tomorrow's food today. And if you're going to write anything in this video, I want you to tag anybody who you think needs to hear this. Tag them, share this video, whatever. But don't eat tomorrow's food today. The problem with eating tomorrow's food today, guys, is that this food was meant for tomorrow, but you've now brought it, because you are greedy, because you are lustful. You bring it to today, and you eat that food. But what happens to tomorrow? So today you're like over full. You're like, oh, I can't eat anymore. But tomorrow you will go hungry. And this is the same principle with money, meaning that if you are driving the car of tomorrow, so you couldn't afford it today, but you were not able to say, or level-headed enough to say, no, I'm going to like calm down. I'm not going to drive this car right now because I can't afford it. I'm going to wait until I can. What you did was you brought forward the car of tomorrow. You brought it to today and you're just driving it today. But now you have sold the years up until whenever you're going to pay it off. You've solved it. You've actually sold them. So tomorrow, you better hope that car doesn't break down, because they're still going to charge you for it. You better hope that you don't lose your job, because they're going to come and take back your money, and you will be in a bus. You will be traveling by train. The problem with driving tomorrow's car today is that tomorrow you won't be able to drive that car. You won't be able to drive a car. Tomorrow you'll be in trouble. Tomorrow you'll be in trouble. Either you won't have that car, or you'll be having it, and now you are locked as a slave in a system, working 12, 13 hours a day in order to pay off that car that you drove today. Like, ignoring your kids, like unable to pay attention to your kids, to your wife, to your family, because now you have to sell yourself to some job and work and work and work and work and work. That is the slavery. That is the slavery, guys. It's a big law of money. Don't eat tomorrow's food today. And so what are some of the practical steps that I've been doing? Because I love to always leave you with something practical right at the end of this. Now, make sure you read the article, because each of my videos come accompanied by an article. Make sure you read it if you need to just get those principles. I've laid it out. I'm a much better writer, actually, I think, than I am a presenter. But read it. Here are some practical steps. I want to just give you three practical steps. Number one, honestly assess your bills and direct debits right now. Have that honest conversation. Look at it. Look at your bank statement and see, okay, where is this stuff going? Is there anything you can do without? For me, this came home quite a lot when I actually was, had to start over my life again. I literally went and stripped everything. I think the only direct debit I left was my phone, because I needed my phone in order to build my business, to rebuild a business, again, another business, and obviously to get jobs and stuff, I needed a phone. But, I get to the phone. That is a funny one, which now, now that I'm about 6 months in, I'm now assessing the phone itself. Because here's the thing, for 10 years, I have been, even maybe 12 years, I have been with, I started them with Orange, and now they're EE. And I've worked with them, paying them a direct debit, having a contract, a 2-year contract on these nice phones. Like, I started with a Samsung, then I got onto the iPhone from the first one, and I've always had iPhones ever since. And I've had these nice phones, and every 2 years, they send me a thing, and I go, yeah, I'll go. And, the money doesn't go up as much, but I still pay a hefty amount. Now, at the moment, it's a business expense, so that's fine. But I was really thinking, because now, next year, beginning of next year, I'm going to have a new contract. And I was thinking, they're probably going to offer me the latest iPhone 7. And I'm thinking, do I really need that? That is the question. That's what I'm saying, honestly assess it. I'm thinking, do I really need that? At the moment, I've not got that much money. So perhaps I could even go on a contract that is just my SIM card. My iPhone 6 still works amazingly well. I take care of it quite well. And, whatever amount of years I can go with it before it breaks down, that would just be years that I'm not paying EE just for a phone I didn't really need. Because I end up having to sell a perfectly good phone like this. I end up having to sell it for like 30 pounds, 40 pounds, which is nothing. This is like a 200 pound phone. So think about it. Honestly assess it. This is me saying, wow, do I really, really need to have the latest phone? Who am I trying to impress? I don't even have time to be faffing around with all the gadgets anyway. All right, I'm going to get a little bit in that hole, but think about that with you. Maybe for you it's a car. Do you really need to be in a brand new BMW? But anyway, that's gonna be especially for black men without BMWs. That's gonna be a touchy subject, but I really wanted to bring it home with you. Number 2, learn how to pay yourself before you pay your bills. This big one. You cannot be the last person to get paid. And what I mean by pay yourself is, one of the principles I talk about here in the journey to £1 million is about investing in your own future and investing in a business, whatever. I have now made it a habit to think about my business. When payday comes, I think about my business first before I think about my bills. My bills will come out later, but I think about my business first. I siphon off some money to my, it's not that much, but it's some money to, raising up my personal brand, like my writing business, and that's where my money goes. I have allocated a certain percentage of my salary. That is all that is going to go to debts. I'm not going to pay any more than that. And my bills, I pay them right at the end. They can wait. I don't need to make it all, run to them and like give them my money. No. What this does is it also unlocks that mentality of being enslaved to the bills. If you're thinking about your own self, your own purpose, and that is what you serve. You are no longer serving just the bills. Because if you wake up to go pay bills, that is a bad place to be in. You are enslaved by those bills. And lastly, if you can't afford something, refrain from buying it at all. Kind of just don't buy it. Sit with it for a few months. Let's say you want something, because like advertising really gets us, and we're like, oh, I really want to buy this. But sit with it. Maybe you wanted to buy something this month, right? Maybe let's say it's a cute new summer dress. Sit with it for another 2 weeks and see if you really want that dress in 2 weeks. Chances are you won't. You'll be just like, oh, that was a fleeting feeling that I had. Maybe something bigger. I want this gaming computer. But think about it. Sit down with it for a couple of months and think, did I really want it? Because this will again, if you get the ability to sit and look at your money, just look at it and see it as a tool. And it doesn't, because money has a way of like drawing you and like say, oh, spend me, spend me, spend me. Don't do that. Don't get enslaved by that. Do not obey those dictates of money. So thank you guys for your attention. I really love that you can give me 17 minutes of your time to listen to this. I really, really hope this was helpful. Again, leave me a comment, like the page, and I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.